Hi everybody, I would like to talk about a book that I read recently, and this book could easily be the best book on productivity and personal development that I've read all year long. Now prior to reading this book, honestly I've had problems and struggles when it comes to maintaining my high productivity state. There will be days when I'll have huge willpower, but there are days when, especially towards the end of the day, when I feel that willpower is being drained out of me. Now you've probably experienced the same thing. And I believe what I'm about to share with you could very much help you to break through that limitations in your life right now, the same way that it has done for me. Now the name of that book is The One Thing by Gary Keller. The subtitle of this book is The Surprisingly Simple Truth Behind Extraordinary Results. Now, one of the things that I've gotten out of this book is you need to know what is your why when you are starting your tasks. Knowing what is the end from the beginning is very important because it gives you a sense of purpose and the big picture of where you're going. And then after you are clear about where you want to go and what you want to achieve in the end, you can reverse engineer it backward and create a step-by-step plan in order to achieve that goal. So what is the one thing principle? The one thing principle is basically out of all the things that you have to do, and we often have this problem with multitasking. We are doing like 10 different things at once, but it's not productive in the long run. So out of the so many different things that we need to do, what is the one thing in such a way that if you do that one thing, it makes everything else either easier or unnecessary? And that is a very powerful principle that has breakthrough a lot of my old mindsets about productivity and how it should be done. Now, if you know one thing about willpower, and you probably experienced this as well in your life, willpower works a little bit like the phone battery. Right in the morning, when you just wake up, you are fresh, you are not bombarded with all these life challenges and problems, you have a very high willpower, just like your phone is fully charged. However, you find that throughout the day, that willpower starts to be drained. It starts to decline, especially towards the end of the day when you are just tired, when you just don't feel the motivation to keep on going. So this is where the one thing principle comes into play. You need to align your most important tasks with the time period in your day when you are most effective. And this is another thing that I've learned from the book that is called the block time principle. Now you've probably heard of block time, but before you discount it and say, yeah, I've heard about block time, hear me out for a second, because if you understand how to tie in the block time concept with the one thing principle, this could just be the very thing that will lead to that major breakthrough that you need in your life. You see, the time in our day are not built the same way. They do not all have equal value. You are simply more productive at one period of your day more than the others. And for most people, morning is the time when I am at my peak state of performance, and when I have a clear mind, I'm free from all kind of interruptions and distractions, and when I'm able to get in the zone much faster. And that is the reason why I like to wake up early now. Now, I used to struggle waking up early. I was a night owl. I thought that cramming that extra hours into the night before I go to bed could be the most productive thing I could do, not realizing that actually that was number one productivity killer. Because you wake up the next day feeling groggy, you are not being at your best state of mind, and that kills performance like nothing else. With this block time principle, you want to start your day early, and you want to give the prime time of your day for the most important tasks. The one thing that you can do so that everything else becomes easier or unnecessary. An analogy that was used in the book to describe this one thing principle is the geometric domino effect. So you might be wondering, why do I have all the Jenga pieces right in front of me right here? These Jenga pieces act like dominoes. When you knock one piece off, it is going to set the motion and the momentum to knock all the other pieces off. And the geometric domino effect states that when you knock off one domino, basically you are able to topple another domino that is up to 50% larger than the first domino. Now, if you are to line up all the dominoes like this, do you know that according to this book, by the time you get to the 18th domino, you can actually reach the height of a Pisa Tower. And by the time you reach the 23rd domino, The height of it is actually the Eiffel Tower. That was mind-blowing, but it gets better. When you get to the 31st piece, you have actually reached the height that looms 3,000 feet above Mount Everest. And by the 57th piece, you have actually almost reached the moon. Now imagine this powerful analogy working in your favor in terms of high productivity. If you are able to figure out what is that one thing that is absolutely important and necessary to be done, that will make all the other tasks easier and unnecessary. If you line them up like that and you just do them in the right sequence, and you focus all your attention in getting that one thing done and not 10 different things at once. Can you imagine a cumulative power of doing so? You can actually accomplish in the end a big goal that might otherwise overwhelm you. Just the thought of having to tackle that big goal not only overwhelm us, but it makes us procrastinate. So one of the things that you can do with this block time principle, you need to align the reason why you are doing that thing with the end goal why you are doing it, and reverse engineer it to the step-by-step plan that will be needed for you to get there. You want to block out your time early in the morning for that most important task that you want to do. Now what I like to do, ever since I learned this block time principle, is I like to wake up early, starting at 6 in the morning. Then I'll start to meditate, and I like to pray with my wife. And doing that for the first hour or so of my day, it kind of like set the pace for the rest of the day. And just being in that meditative state, it just fits me with the spiritual energy that I need to start the day in the right way. And after that, the next hour will be spent having a healthy breakfast, and then I'll do some light exercise like lifting the dumbbells. So after that, I'll get to my office before 8. I will sit down and I'll plan my day, what I want to do for the rest of the days. And normally, what I'll do is I will prioritize the 3 most important tasks that I need to do for the day. And these 3 most important tasks, I will choose one out of them that will become my one thing. I will be working at that one thing and make sure that there is no distraction whatsoever. I'm going to turn off my phone. I'm going to set it on airplane mode. Then from 8 to 12 noon, I will actually block off my time and guard this time like it's sacred. And then I'm going to work on it, and I'm going to set a deadline. All right, and deadline is an important thing for you to set if you want to achieve some real results as well. Because there's this thing called the Parkinson's law. If you are given a certain amount of time to accomplish a task, you will do that task in that given amount of time. So for example, you are given a task and 1 year to accomplish that task. You are going to take exactly 1 year to accomplish that task. But if you are only given 2 hours to accomplish the same task, you are going to take 2 hours to accomplish the same task. This principle works very well when I was in college. We have all been there, right? You have an important assignment from your professor, and we procrastinate. Like most young people do, we like to procrastinate. The first few weeks before the due date, we're not going to do much about the project, but somehow the few days before that assignment is due, you somehow find all the inspiration and the motivation to get it done. And somehow in that few days, you are super productive. Deadlines could be a very healthy thing, not only to help you figure out when you're going to accomplish a certain task, but also how you are going to accomplish that. So knowing how to set deadlines effectively and engineer fake pressure into your schedule can help to soar your productivity at a level that you've never experienced before. Not only will you get things done much faster, you are going to have this sense of fulfillment that will actually provide you with the momentum that will carry on for the rest of your day. You do not have to hand over the control of your time to somebody else. You can be in charge of your own calendar. And every time I have completed a day of block time, what I'll do to help me to keep the momentum going and to make it a consistent habit is I will create this calendar where I'm going to put X's on each day that I've completed the block time successfully. When you have set all the domino pieces characterized by all the X's that you have on your calendar, you are chipping away at that big goal little by little, and you're going to reach a point where the momentum is going to build up, and it is going to topple that big goal that is impossible for you to achieve otherwise. Okay, think of it like an analogy of a locomotive. When a locomotive is at a static point, when it's not moving, you do not need to exert any energy to stop it. And it will take the most amount of energy and steam power to get that locomotive going. And in the same way, when you are first starting with this one thing principle, you might struggle a lot in the beginning. Like I experienced it myself. In the beginning, because I'm a night owl, I don't have the habit of waking up early in the morning. So the first few days were a big struggle for me. However, the more I do it, the more my body adjusts to this new biological clock. And the more I get into the rhythm. The more I get into the rhythm, the more I enjoy it, the more that my brain kicks off that reward system to want me to go for it even more. Does that make sense? In the same way, when you're first starting out, it might take you a long time for you to build the habit, and nothing seems to be happening. Just like that locomotive is not moving. However, when you are consistent day in and day out, according to the principles stated in these books, you need 66 days of not breaking the pattern, of continuing to cross your calendar one day at a time for you to build that momentum. When all your dominoes are lined up in the perfect sequence, all that you need to do is just one push to topple everything down. Just like a locomotive that is full in motion, there is nothing that can stop this locomotive. The sheer momentum and power, you can place anything on its path and it's going to break that thing. So the same thing will happen to your life when you have set everything in the right sequence. All your dominoes are in place, and all that you need to do is that one thing that will topple everything else. And that, my friend, is the power of the one thing principle. If you use it correctly, it will change your life in a way that you've never thought possible. And the most beautiful thing about the one thing principle is it can be applied to any area of your life. You're not happy with your marriage, you can apply the one thing principle to work on that one thing that will give the most impact to your marriage. You can dedicate the prime time of your day, typically in the morning, to work on that relationships until you topple everything down and your marriage will be back in shape and will be healthy again. It could be your physical fitness and wellness. If you're not happy with your weight right now, you can actually set the one thing principle to work in your favor by working out first thing in the morning and to block that time off against all kind of distractions, but you are just going to work on your physical fitness. It could be your mental growth. It could be your spiritual growth. It could be any area of your life. When you improve your life in that one particular area, it will set in motion to improve all the other areas of your life as well. It sets the pace for the rest of the day. And somehow you're going to feel that all the other areas of your life will start to improve overall as well. So my friend, out of all the things that I've shared, which one stood out the most for you? Have you ever had the time when you feel that your willpower is drained out of you? Share in the comment down below. I would like to hear from you. And do try out the block time principle. Have you ever tried it before? Maybe you are an author and you are trying to write a book and somehow you never find the perfect time to write that book. Maybe try out this block time principle and see how it works out for yourself. And by the way, if you have not done so, do hit that subscribe button so that you will be getting more videos like this in the future. And if you have found values in this video, do help me by hitting that thumbs up button. To end our time together, I would like to encourage you with this. Whatever limit that you find yourself to be in at the moment, challenge your limits. I believe that you can break free from all the limitations in your life so that you can be that best version of yourself, and in the end, you will be able to change the world. So until we meet again in the next video, take care and see you soon.